Every couple of months, I'll open up twitter.com and roll my eyes at this stupid meme about how these 4 YouTubers ruined a generation of kids, as if a single person or even a group of people could ruin a generation of anything. I thought, until I found out who Andrew Tate was, and that's what we're here to talk about today. You've probably heard about the man. He's blown up over the past couple weeks. Andrew Tate is even more popular than Mr. Beast by Google searches right now. This will change because that's how trends work, but he's hot. He's hot. And you might be wondering, who the hell's Andrew Tate? Good question. He's a former kickboxing world champion turned reality star when he joined Big Brother. But then he got kicked off Big Brother because it was discovered that he was beating women. But then the woman he was beating said it was consensual and BDSM. So I don't know, make of that what you will. And then he was also famous because he was running a online fan cam service. Basically, he was a pimp for women online, and they were selling relationships to men and farming them for all the money they have. It actually made him millions and millions of dollars, but he quit. Not because he felt bad and was the whole "I'm not your friend" thing. It's because the Romanian police raided his house, and there was claims that people were there against his will, and I don't think anybody wants that heat. But why are we talking about him now? Why is he hot right now? Why is he so controversial that a man named Andrew Tate had to change his name on Twitch because he was getting so much hate? Well, the reason is his new venture, Hustlers University, basically selling a lifestyle to mostly teenaged boys. He is a powerful, strong, rich man, and he's trying to tell you, the average man, that you can have this lifestyle if you just follow his class. Here's a real clip, by the way, of him advertising it.
I get called Morpheus a lot. I get called Morpheus all the time in my DMs because I'm trying to wake people up. If the Matrix is real and you are watching this video, I am Morpheus.
I get called really, really tall and funny all the time. I'm not making this up. This is super real. Now, Andrew Tate, if that was all he was known for, wouldn't be someone we would be talking about today. But he's also a man who has very, very controversial takes. And smartly, he doesn't always spout these takes on his own streams. He goes on media tours of random podcasts and says them there. Takes like this.
I was getting on a plane, and I could see through the cockpit that a female was the pilot. And I took a picture, and I said, most women I know can't even park a car. Why is a woman flying my plane?
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. He's also said that women can't drive because he's been in 5 car accidents, and every single accident was with a woman driver. And also him driving, but I don't think he's noticed that consistent variable. He has other gross things like this.
Person who feels like they need therapy, you're useless. Because in the harshest realities of this cold world, there are people in Syria whose entire families have been blown to fuck, who are still getting up every day, making fucking bread and selling it on the streets so they have enough money to buy a new pair of sandals sometime next year.
Forget about the Jordan Peterson make your bed. We've moved on. It's time to make bread, fellas. If you're not making bread, you're a beta bitch. All right. And that's just the fact. And it all kind of came to a head, him having this career of Hustlers University and trying to sell this lifestyle. And then the Twitch sphere when he hopped on Aiden Ross's stream. And this was a huge, huge stream. And from my perspective as a guy who's pretty confident in his morals and his ethics and what guides me as a human, it was pretty fucking funny. I mean, here's a clip from it.
My neighbors, she's only about 16, 15, 16, some 15, 16-year-old girl lives a couple of houses away. Yeah. I hope she ain't watching because she was looking for a cat the other day and my pit bull ate it. So,
oh God.
And I put a sign up, cats don't come inside. But cats are such arrogant little fuckers. They must have read the sign and thought, fuck this guy. They're either too stupid to read or they're arrogant and ignored me.
For sure.
I thought cats were fast, but it turns out pit bulls are faster. My cat.
Okay, so that's the GTA NPC that is Andrew Tate. And that stream was big. And there was kind of a problem with it. Aiden Ross said yes to every single thing Andrew Tate was spitting out, even the sexist shit. And the problem with Andrew Tate is he doesn't only say dumb shit, crazy shit, funny stories. He also ties in some pretty basic life lessons, like this one.
You ever seen anyone with a vape? Have you ever sat in a room? So we go, wait, let me just go. My vape's done charging. Load it up. I mean, I smoke cigars, but I know what the fuck I'm doing. Give me a big fat cigar. I'm risking cancer to look like a mafia boss. Fine. I'm not sitting there smoking cigars and going, I can't believe this is bad for me. No, like these fucking vape bullshit children. And what kind of parent lets their 16-year-old vape anyway?
Fair.
If I had a 16-year-old son, he's like, I got a vape. Get the fuck out of here, vape. Do some push-ups. You ain't got time to vape. You got to do push-ups. You ain't got time.
And so he has these like pretty basic tidbits of truth bombs, of knowledge. And then he ties it in with charismatically told funny stories. And then he drops a few little sexist remarks in there. And all of that led to his chat, Aiden Ross that is, Wing everything that Andrew Tate would say, and Aiden Ross going along with everything as well. And it led to 266,000 people watching at once. So I kind of get why Aiden Ross didn't really push back. He was probably too busy staring at the viewership number. I mean, he went so far to yes and everything Tate was saying that they had this insane moment.
Let me ask you a question first.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the clown that hides from gay people?
No.
Of course you haven't.
Stupid shit. But it's a problem too, because he takes advantage of the people who are watching. These people who look up to Tate because he's strong and he gets women and he has a lot of money. They're going down, I think, a bad path. A path where they're listening to one man to pull all their ideals from. I mean, look at this clip. This is, I think, one of the best examples of Tate farming that string and trying to get people who are lonely to go take his class.
I think most women can actually genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are. Yeah. And you need to truly understand, if you're Joe Schmo, average in nearly every way, in Starbucks working, you ain't getting a DM ever. You girls will never be lonely. As much as you might be unhappy with the possible suitors, you can at least fuck about and flirt if you feel sad. There are men out here in the world who have genuine loneliness.
This video has 10 million views. Now, obviously, women can also be lonely. All right, the guy who's working at Starbucks who gets no DMs, maybe if you're looking at the hot girl in class who's going out, you'll be like, oh, women are going out. There's a girl in your class who's probably feeling the same way you do. It might disproportionately affect men. I don't know. I'm not a man of the studies. But all I do know is that his solution for this is I am rich, I get bitches, I have Bugatti. Give me $50 every single month, and I'll tell you how to be exactly like me. And that's what they do. $50 a month. Now, a couple of months ago, there were 50,000 people who were signed up for his course. That's $2.5 million every single month. It's like $25 million a year. Imagine now, after the blow up, it might be 2, 3, 5 times that amount. He's not going to stop. Why would he? He's only getting praise from a lot of teenage kids online. The only real pushback I've ever seen of Tate was from this one podcast he did with Portnoy on the BFF's pod.
You say a lot of stuff about women like that they're your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So she wants to do OnlyFans. She owes him some money because she's his.
Well, that's crazy.
It's crazy.
That one's crazy.
It is crazy. You think that a man going out with a girl, that's just your property?
That one was nuts.
I'm nuts now. Good.
If a guy and a girl is dating and a girl does OnlyFans, she owes him a cut?
She is his girl.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because she's his.
So that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him. And the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. A male porn star owes the woman.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman.
Yeah, that's inherently where you get called sexist for.
No, it's not property. It's just she belongs to me and she is mine. It's not property. No one else can have her and she's mine. Now the problem is that this Tate character that he puts on, and I don't think it is a character in the sense that he doesn't believe these things. I think it's a character in the sense that he uses his charisma and he makes up stories and he tries to sell it in a way that is more palatable. It gets a lot of weird followers. Now, you've probably seen Tate clips online. When you see them, do me a favor, check to see if there's a description that has a referral link to his course. It's kind of like a little baby pyramid scheme, because they have referral links like early days in Uber, and all these alpha males try to make a little bit of bread by getting their other lonely friends to hop on the trend so they can all get rich. And it creates weird ass copies like this guy.
You want to learn about Hustlers University, eh? You're a young male or in a Apache attack helicopter,
Tango down.
Or a female, God help us all,
who are like devoid of all of the charisma and only have the shitty qualities. Not to say Tate's a good person, but that guy's a goddamn robot. The only thing he shares with Tate is his bald ass head. And I'm kind of scared of this. Honestly, I can watch Tate and I can laugh about it and then move on because it's not going to impact how I feel about things. I've kind of formed my identity over 27 years and it's still changing. I still like to challenge my ideas by looking at new things, talking to new people, reading new books, whatever it is. But there are people, and I think this is so beta, who give this man $50 and then subscribe to every single thing he says. It blows my mind. I don't get it. Growing up, I wanted someone who could guide me. My dad died when I was 10, and I found that in Woody's gamertag. He did a series called Male Monday, and I think I was really lucky because if I had watched someone else like 12 years ago and I'm 15 years old, I could have gotten down a weird path. I could be a weird fucking guy who probably would have joined a frat and only cared about fucking bitches and hedonistic goals trying to make my life right now happier and not like better things that give you more fulfillment in the totality of your life. This guy was an absolute legend. He's the guy who inspired what my channel is today. I mean, originally, Mogul Mail Monday, it was supposed to be letters from you guys and I would give advice to it. I found out pretty quickly that all of you guys just want to figure out how to deal with breakups, and I feel like I've talked about that. Or you have problems that I don't feel like I have the expertise to talk about. So instead, what I like to do is just turn on the camera for 15 minutes, talk about something I'm interested in, and inject how I feel about it. But the one thing that I'm down to do that I wish someone like Tate would be down to do is be challenged. I'm not here to tell you I'm the alpha. I know everything. Listen to me. I'm here to tell you how I feel about a thing. And I've been wrong in the past. Way wrong. Not just talking about like Batman, bad takes. I've had dumb things that I've said. Coinbase sponsorship, just to start. But I'm okay with being challenged. I always say at the end of the video, let me know how you feel. Let me know if you disagree. And I do read the comments that are kind of filled with bots these days. Kind of need to fix that. And I'm worried. Just worried about a future generation. So if you have a friend who's Tate pilled, talk to him. Let him know. Maybe you think it's whack. You can tell him it's whack. Maybe you don't think it's whack, but ask them why they feel that way. And at least engage in discourse. Maybe there's some positive you can do from that. Anyway, that's all, boys. That's the Andrew Tate thing. Didn't think I was going to talk about it, but it's blown up so much and it doesn't seem like it's cooling down. I had to. Let me know if you disagree. If you're Tate pilled, why? And see you later. See you in the next one. Do you hear that? That's the sound of 1 million 14-year-old boys crying in anguish as their fearless leader, Andrew Tate, was banned on Instagram and Facebook today. Now, if you don't know who Andrew Tate is, you can just watch this video. And if you do, you're suffering like the rest of us, and we have to talk about this guy once more because this ban is somehow a bit controversial. Now, let me catch up to speed. Andrew Tate, no stranger to getting banned by social medias, was banned on Twitter for the past 5 years for saying this, which I'm not going to read out loud, but you can read with your eyes. Yeah, that is crazy. That's crazy. He said that publicly and thought it too. Like, you had to think it. Anyway, he was banned on Facebook. Now, I'll try to find out the exact reason. The ban is a little bit weird in the sense that there was no specific moment that led up to this ban. There was no one thing that he did that Facebook's like, no, not that. But I looked through their hate speech, which they say don't post. Makes sense to me. And it says, do not dehumanize people, including women, as household objects or refer to them as property. And then I saw this clip of Andrew Tate doing that.
If I have responsibility over her, then I must have a degree of authority. For the same reason, if I have responsibility over, and everyone's going to lose their mind, it's an example, it's only an analogy. If I have responsibility over a child, I have to have some authority. You cannot be responsible for something that doesn't listen to you. You can't be responsible.
Okay, my favorite part about this is Dave Portnoy goes tough off the first one. But the video doesn't end.
Responsible for a dog if it doesn't obey you, or a child if it doesn't obey you, or a woman doesn't obey you.
Super sexist path.
Cool. Let's take a beautiful sports car. It doesn't matter. A house.
Yeah,
land,
that didn't help.
whatever.
Okay, wait, I'm being sexist? Okay, so my shovel of a wife, right? It's crazy. But look, if you don't take my word that Andrew Tate is sexist, maybe this guy will convince you.
If you're going to be realistic about the world, you're going to be a little bit sexist. I'll openly say I'm a little bit sexist because I'm realistic. Men are just better than women.
So I feel like we got that out of the way. Now, let me make it very clear. I think Andrew Tate is a piece of shit. I think him being banned is overall a good for the world. It's not that much of a difference because the sexism's still there, right? Think of it like this. Meta banning Andrew Tate is taking away their responsibility to actually deal with the root problems of their platform, where they're promoting people who are Islamophobic, sexist, racist all the time with their algorithm. The same problems that YouTube, Twitter deal with. Every single social media platform has an algorithm, and they're boosting. They're the ones literally lifting up these creators, and then as a good thing, they'll ban one. Like the head of the Hydra, and then 2 more will come out. I mean, there will be 2 more sexist content creators in 6 months that come out of this that are maybe a little less effective at making money and have a little more hair on their head, probably. Okay, that is the reality of the situation. And there's going to be some people, maybe even watching this video, who are like, they're trying to silence my boy Tate. They're trying to silence him. Really? You think Meta is trying to silence Andrew Tate? When they didn't even silence their Facebook users from causing a, quote, determining role in the Rohingya genocide, which by the way, caused over 20,000 people to die in a lot more atrocities. You think the line was, you know what? It's that Tate guy. Now, honestly, what probably happened is there's some high-level exec who got Andrew Tate on their radar. Hassan, I'll call him earlier. He told me this is his theory, that there's some 11-year-old boy in the fucking basement going, God, you bitch. And it's a Facebook dad exec or mom exec up top, and they went to work, and it's one click of a button, and he's gone. It's probably that simple, because that's how platforms work. They are notoriously inconsistent with bans. If that is your concern, if you're like, damn, this was an inconsistent ban, yeah, that's how it works with all these platforms. Twitch bans streamers for saying cracker, but doesn't for ableist slurs. YouTube doesn't know where its own line is. The platform's content moderations have become haphazard and inconsistent. Twitter under pressure over double standards after Donald Trump MAGA crackdown. Every single platform struggles with consistent moderation because they have the pressure of having an algorithm to make people enjoy their site and stay in it longer. But the algorithm's just a robot that doesn't care if it's promoting something bad or hate-filled. It just promotes for people to stay on the platform. And then they try to do the Band-Aid of, oh, we'll ban that now. I mean, you probably should have some solution on the in-between. This is my take. Maybe something that's different than banning. Maybe something like maybe blacklisting. Like you don't have them in the algorithm anymore. Just pull them out of the algorithm. It's the same thing as YouTube with demonetizing. You know how powerful demonetizing is? Demonetizing has killed channels. It's made creators stop posting. It's not a good thing, but if you need a step between banning and not banning, so it's not a fucking controversy every time like Andrew Tate or a Andrew Tate clone gets banned, you can do that. And then maybe creators will be a little less centrist about this take and with a little more gumption to be able to say, oh yeah, I think it makes sense that Andrew Tate was demonetized off the platform and he's no longer circulating in the algorithm. He probably shouldn't be promoted because all he is doing is trying to sell his multi-level marketing scheme, which I think is a good enough reason to not promote someone at all in the first place. And I saw even creators I really like have takes that I thought were so mid. Like, I think CoffeeZilla is a smart guy. I think he makes great videos. But he says, I dislike Tate. Kids are going to grow up thinking their only weapon against ideas is deplatforming. I don't think the kids are the ones who deplatformed Tate here. I think the platforms do it when their success does not align with the creator's success that they ban. All right? Either because it's getting too much negative press, like an Alex Jones type, or it's something that maybe, like I said earlier, ran across an exec's desk and it doesn't follow terms of service, and it can be a slam dunk ban that takes off the pressure of making any real change to a platform. I'll also say about CoffeeZilla, he said, what's the better solution? Talking to them Lamau, which I'm going to call you out here. I think you think that because you're doing a debate with Tate this week. I'm just saying the timing's a little convenient. And also, do you really think that you're going to talk to Andrew Tate and change his mind? Is that the goal? Is it sit him down and enter the marketplace of ideas and he exits a better man? This has happened before. Hassan went on a call with Andrew Tate. They were talking about how imperial data is important and you can't just get into a car accident with 2 women and then say all women are bad drivers because it's too small of a sample size. You can look at a much larger sample size and pull real scientific data from it.
Andrew, do you believe the Earth is flat or round, spherical, globe?
Round.
You believe it's round, right? But when you walk outside, it feels like it's flat.
Brother, And I
It looks
respect-
flat. It feels flat, but you believe it's round. Why do you believe the Earth is round?
because I have personal experience that would prove to me that the Earth is round.
Oh, you have personal experience. What
That's
happened?
right.
Did you go up to the fucking moon? Is that how you figured it out?
Exactly. I flew up into space and I looked down on Earth and I
Yeah.
saw a big
That's
circle.
crazy. Okay,
down there,
you don't have
look
to.
down
Hey,
there.
listen, you don't have to concede on that point, but I think you and I both understand the importance of scientific, the importance of empirical evidence in that one, right? Or you know,
It's a great counterpoint. It's something that Andrew Tate has to face in a live setting, which can be a little stressful. So he goes into this, made up story to try to just diffuse the situation, back out of it. But what came from it was not, you know what? Maybe empirical evidence is important. This is him today, Andrew Tate.
Yes, he told me I'm not lazy.
he's gonna who a
Who's
megalo watch.
Hasanabi?
You remember him, the guy that was basically like sitting down like with glasses. He's kind of like a bigger guy, like this.
Bigger, like fat?
No, he wasn't. He's like really buff, actually.
This is Andrew Tate pretending not to know who Hassan is today.
Oh, you're talking about, bro.
Anyways,
Yeah,
And it makes sense. It makes sense because he's never been interested in engaging in a real discussion that may change his worldview, or maybe he's trying to change a worldview. All YouTube discussions are a waste of time to some extent because back in the day, discussions were between one person, and you are trying to reach a mutual conclusion together. Or perhaps you have some preconceived conclusions and they'll change during the duration of a conversation. But nowadays, these conversations, whether they're through a podcast or a debate or whatever it is, there's a third person in the conversation, you, the viewer. And so it's much less a genuine effort to try to convince someone to be on your side or see their worldview. And it's much more trying to convince the thousands or millions of people watching to change their worldview. And so you have a preconceived conclusion, and it's just trying to find the data for your preconceived conclusion to convince those people watching, not the person across from you. Which is why Debate Bros and all that shit is mostly just for show. It's a showmanship thing and a general waste of time if the goal is to try to see some worldviews, see other people's perspectives. That's all it is. It's not a genuine effort at all, which is why I was surprised when I saw this take from Ordinary Gamer, another creator, by the way, who I think is great. But he said, banning Andrew Tate is dumb. Ideas should be challenged, and if he spreads misinformation, it should be countered in the public sphere. And I replied to this. I think it encapsulates my thoughts now pretty well. Regardless of whether banning is the correct decision, the idea that truth prevails in the public sphere has been repeatedly proven false. People just move to spheres that agree with their truth. And I found this the other day because I made a mogul mail, and I talked about people who were anti-vax. I used the term anti-vaxxers, which people got very upset about. And they said, I'm not anti-vax. I'm just against the vaccine. And you can do, and there's always the do your own research crowd. Now, I can do my own research right now. I can do my own research, and I can find that getting the COVID vaccine makes you much less likely to go to the hospital, which is a big problem because hospitals are overrun. It even makes you slightly better at not getting the illness. But then there's also people who do their research and be like, well, this is the first mRNA vaccine. What's an mRNA vaccine mean for my body for the next 10 years? And people will only do the research to back their point. Because all debates in the public sphere, aka on social media, is a debate where other people are watching. And so it's never like a conversation, which then maybe the question is, hey, what is this commentary YouTube thing for? Is this valuable? Is this another sphere? Where are we? What's going on? Who's going to save us? How do we get to real public discourse? When will the truth prevail? Why is it just always misinformation? I told myself I wasn't going to make another video about Andrew Tate, mostly because the content around Andrew Tate is very repetitive and boring. Plus, it just makes the bald man richer anyway. So what's really the point? But much like a messy shit, every time I look down at the toilet paper, Andrew Tate is still there, and today's shit is especially messy and worth talking about because it's official that Andrew Tate has been arrested in Romania on human trafficking charges alongside his brother. And the fun part? It is all thanks to Greta Thunberg, the climate activist from a few years ago. She was like the 15-year-old. It's her. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, it might sound a bit familiar that Andrew Tate had something with the law and human trafficking. And that's because in April of 2022, earlier this year, his entire compound was raided by the Romanian police. Now, he said it was like a swatting thing and had nothing to do with human trafficking. And the story kind of died down and no one really knew what was going on. But now, thanks to some of the stories that were posted by Alejandra on Twitter, we seem to have a better picture. There was a tip to the U.S. Embassy by a boyfriend of an American woman who alerted the embassy that she was being held against her will by Andrew Tate. And the story goes like this. American woman's dating this guy. Andrew Tate hits her up on social media, says, hey, I'll fly you out to Romania. Bad Andrew Tate impression, but you get the point. She took the flight because I guess he's rich and bald and she likes those things. And he showed her a good time until he forced her to work as a video chat model, or at least she felt threatened and forced to work as a video chat model. And she contacted her ex and was like, hey, I fucked up. I made a mistake. And then he contacted an embassy, a U.S. embassy in Bucharest, the capital of Romania. And very quickly, they realized this is kind of like organized crime and we're crossing countries here. And this is a bit of a big deal. And if you don't know, most human trafficking comes from somebody who you might know. There's like a literal strategy in human trafficking of lover boy, like trying to lead people into a certain area. And so this tip originally came in April, but the authorities just now had enough evidence to actually book and charge the Tate brothers and put them into custody. Originally in April, they went and hoped to maybe find the girl, but she wasn't there. I guess now they have some information. And this also proves, a bit of a point here, why Andrew Tate moved to Romania in the first place. This is a direct quote from him, by the way. If corruption exists, which it does, let us all play. I like living in a society where my money, influence, and power means I'm not below or beholden to any of these bullshit laws. I mean, here's a clip of him on a podcast. Just listen. Does this sound like somebody who moved to Romania to do maybe some nefarious things? I think maybe.
There are countries in the world where there's a really interesting, delicate balance of a government and a police force which are not strong. And when I'm saying that, I'm not saying I'm breaking the law. I'm not saying it in that way. I'm saying that minor infractions or tiny things are not going to be, I'm not going to be persecuted to the end of earth I would in the UK for a parking ticket.
Yeah, it's
right?
mad because
So it sounds like he went to Romania and that's where he resides because maybe the police are a little more relaxed. Maybe he's able to bribe some of the officials there. Maybe he can do some things that he wouldn't be able to do in the UK or US that he feels like the politicians in those areas can do. And maybe part of this involved trying to coerce women to fly from across the world to do his webcam business that maybe they don't want to do. And that at least is what the Romanian police believe, or at least the U.S. Embassy, who probably asked the Romanian police to arrest Andrew Tate and his brother. Now, what does this have to do with Greta Thunberg? Well, let's talk about Andrew Tate being unbanned on Twitter. Now, I didn't make a video about this because who fucking cares? It's twitter.com. But it's true. Elon Musk unbanned Andrew Tate after 5 years. And part of his unban was a little conversation with Greta Thunberg, who is on Twitter. And here's how the interaction went. Andrew Tate randomly tweeted at Greta, said, "Hello, Greta. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has a cool engine. I don't know. I drive a goddamn Subaru Sandbar from 97. My 2 Ferraris also have big engine. This is just the start. Please provide me your email so I can send a complete list of my car collection and the respective enormous emissions." Because she's an activist against climate change. And he's like, I do so many emissions. So many. It's so cool. To which Greta replied, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Little bit of a roast there, but the roast picked up very quickly on Twitter. It got 2.8 million likes. I've never seen a ratio this big ever. His tweet got 193,000. She got 2.8 million. We're talking about like a 10x multiplier and then some. To which he replied, "How dare you?" To which I thought was joking, but no, he was mad. He was mad. You can look, because he immediately started tweeting a shit ton about Greta. Strange as it may seem, there's a teenager out there who believes your government should tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot. And then he also retweeted a bunch of people who were like, Greta's response was actually botted. Also, it's not even a good insult because that's her email. So she has a small dick, actually. And honestly, he's Tate is organically popular and Greta is like hated. People don't like her. So he's retweeting all these things. He seems very upset. He tweets something totally unhinged in a reply to somebody who said Andrew Tate and Greta should stop flirting and fuck already. And then he said she ain't ready. He's pushing 40. Now, to be clear, she is 19. I think everyone kind of envisions her as the child she was when she originally did the climate change. But like, Like, I mean, we can relax with the Seinfeld age difference. You know, it's a little bit bold there, a little bit weird, a little bit creepy. And he wasn't done. He was so upset by this ratio from Greta. He also made this Twitter video. And this is the smoking gun. Let's just watch it together. It's a bit cringe, but let's stick through it.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controversy. It's not something I often do. But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta?
Pretty obvious that it was just like a bit of a roast and she didn't care to give him the time. But again, going along with the I am not owned is his strategy here.
I mean, also, I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza.
It would be so weird if you were.
Make sure
all she did was ratio you.
Recycled.
Okay, just remember this moment. Remember this moment. He asks for a pizza box, and he says, make sure it's not recycled, which is also fine, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. Cardboard recycling is honestly one of the least effective means of recycling because we have so much excess in cardboard. Still worth recycling your cardboard, but you also can't recycle any dirty cardboard, which oftentimes pizza, if they don't have the wax paper underneath, can't even be recycled because it makes the box unusable. It can't actually be recycled. Or if it's like a wax dyed cardboard, you know, like sometimes if you get a package. So oftentimes pizza boxes can't even be recycled. Maybe he's like actually super progressive and knows this.
Thank you. So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into...
I'll save you the rest of the speech. He kind of goes on to say that climate change isn't real, and that's basically the whole of it. But you know, hey, call me crazy. I'm a believer that climate change is real, and I think the biggest impact on climate change are on unregulated corporations that need to be regulated in some fashion. And so you know that's a conversation for a different day. But the interesting part about the video were these two pizza boxes that he brought out as some sort of stunt to own Greta because he wasn't recycling. It turns out that the Romanian authorities needed proof that Andrew Tate was in the country because he travels so much. And they reportedly used his social media posts, including a Romanian pizza chain, Jerry's Pizza, which confirmed that he was in the country and able to be arrested. So all it took was a 19-year-old girl, one ratio, and him trying to unown himself to get arrested by authorities for human trafficking. I can't think of a larger clown on the internet right now than Andrew Tate. That's the whole story. I think it's fucking hilarious. Hope it was worth even talking about Andrew Tate for a moment. And that's it. All right. Thank you all for watching. All right. Subscribe if you're still here. And have a good rest of your day. All right. See you later. Goodbye. Starting with something that happened yesterday that I got many tweets about, Andrew Tate. Now, in that story that I talked about, I said a few things. Andrew Tate got arrested based off human trafficking charges from the Romanian police, and it was all because he tweeted at Greta Thunberg a picture of a pizza box that the police were able to detect that he was in Romania, and that's how they arrested him. A couple things wrong with that story. First off, I don't know how to pronounce Greta Thunberg, and I'm Swedish, and I'm sorry. And second off, well, it's not all the story was cracked up to be. Now, he did tweet out, but that doesn't mean he's still not being detained by the police. In fact, he's been granted from the courts of Romania another 30 days of detention by the police so they can try to charge him with some sort of crime that's relating to human trafficking, which is kind of how like getting arrested works. You know, the police will detain somebody and then they'll try to charge them for something, and then the courts will either prove or disprove those charges, and then maybe you can try to appeal. That's how it goes. It's not the judge, jury, executioner of the police force who gets to just do everything then and there. So he is still being detained for 30 days on those charges. Was it all thanks to a pizza box that he was arrested, though? No. No, that probably should have sounded off my bullshit alarms. It's a little too good to be true that the Romanian police saw a video from a pizza box and then immediately acted on it within a few hours, as opposed to the reality, which is they planned it out. Still, based off his social media activity, that's how they were able to see in what area of the world he was in, but not specifically the pizza box one. That was a little too good to be true from Alejandra, where that was originally reported, and viewed by a lot of people. So wrong there, but right in that he is still being detained on human trafficking charges. Okay, great. First one out of the way. Now let's cover the rest of the things I was wrong about for the entirety of 2022. There's going to be some that I miss here and there, but doing my best here. And again, that doc will be available soon. I thought I saw some interesting story today that was absolute bullshit, but I found out the title of this video is 100% true. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to read a real article headline from Rolling Stone magazine. Andrew Tate was arrested after Aiden Ross blabbed about his escape plans. Now replace blabbed with yapped, throw an idgeable in there. It basically just looks like a random Zoomer's tweet, but it is a true thing that happened. Aiden Ross streamed on Kick, and the thing that he said on Kick led to the arrest of Andrew and Tristan Tate. We're going to get into what happened and how it's proved to be real in a moment. But first, understand my concerns. Because a little over a year ago, a similar sort of story dropped, and it was super viral, but it turned out to be a lie. This, of course, was the story where Andrew Tate was arrested because he ordered Jerry's Pizza to his house, and because he ordered Jerry's Pizza, they knew where he was. Turns out the police just knew where he was before he ordered the pizza. The man was just hungry and ate a little bit. So, I don't, as much as it's fun to spread misinformation, seek to do it. I don't like to do it. So I did a little confirming, and yes, Aiden Ross, the biggest streamer on Kick, bar none, look at this damn graph, did lead to the arrest of Andrew and Tristan Tate. Now, the reason people initially thought this, here is a letter from the prosecution team who are trying to persecute Andrew and Tristan Tate for rape charges and also human trafficking charges, among other things. They said, last week we received information that Tate might have been planning to flee Romania, where he is due to stand trial for separate allegations of rape and human trafficking. We wrote to the British police to bring this to their attention and to urge them to immediately seek a warrant for Tate's detention in Romania and extradition to the UK. Okay? Now, what is the clip? Keep this all in mind, all this information. And now let's watch this clip of Aiden Ross on his stream together. We're going to watch it together and see what he says.
And yeah, so my announcement is, this is my announcement. And it's if you guys really want it.
Okay. Perhaps.
Andrew had hit me up. He said, hey,
Andrew Tate,
I'm going to be leaving Romania soon and probably never coming back. If you want to come over and do a week of long streams and content before I leave, I think it'll be big. And he said it's basically now or never.
Okay. All right. Bit of a smoking gun there. It's now or never. I'm leaving Romania soon. I am never coming back. Coming from a man who is currently supposed to stand trial still in Romanian courts, who is not allowed to leave the country of Romania. So that's what he said, was a text from Andrew Tate on his stream live to 80,000 people. And a lawyer representing Andrew and Tristan Tate kind of confirmed this story was true. This is exactly what he said. We unequivocally deny any accusations that Andrew and Tristan Tate intend to abscond from Romania to evade the judicial proceedings. Abscond, what a good word. Our clients are fully committed to actively participating in the legal process and defend their reputation. We believe the rumor originated from a popular online influencer who misconstrued a text message from our clients while live streaming. There's just no truth to it. So, yeah, it was an online influencer. They're not named here, but presumably it's about Aiden Ross reading a text. Seems like he was reading it verbatim, but, hey, could have been a little reading miscomprehension on the way. And the story does not end, by the way, with Andrew and Tristan Tate in jail. They've already been released from jail. In fact, by the time the story really broke, it was already dropped that they've been released. And the only additional update is they are going to be extradited to the UK, I think, to face similar charges to the ones they're facing in Romania at, a different courts, the UK courts. So they got to do the Romanian court process. They finish that. Then they go to UK. They do the UK court process. But here's the video of them talking about it.
Tell us please, what do you think about the decision for today?
I want to give absolute credit to Romanian justice for making the correct decision today.
The correct decision in letting them go and not keeping them locked up because they're afraid of them leaving.
Unfortunately, I don't think many people in Romania understand, but in the West, in the countries that are owned by the Satanists, when you get to a certain level of fame, you either put on a dress or you go to jail, and I'm happy to make my choice, which is jail every single time. My soul.
I'm pretty sure you don't get that choice, but that would be kind of crazy, you know, like if you had a murderer and they're on trial and it's like you either put on the dress or you go to jail for the rest of your life. I don't think they do that. I'm gonna call that's fake, but you know.
It's not for sale, neither are my principles. We are innocent men. No, we're very innocent men, and in time, everybody's going to see that.
Speaking
and we're
like Trump.
very excited to finish this judicial process and clear our names.
You are free for now, but still the Romanian court approved extradition to the UK after the trial is over here.
That is true. Yeah, they will go to the UK extradition. And I thought, honestly, this was kind of a nothing burger of a story. Okay? Aiden Ross leads to a quick detention of the Tates. They're released. They still are going to go through the court process, which was already going to happen with or without that stream. So nothing really changed here. But then I kept watching this video. And this might seem innocuous to you, but see if you can spot the insanity that ensues. Right there. Do you see it? No? Let me play you just 30 seconds of this podcast with Andrew Tate.
I don't let women drive me in cars. Everyone loses their mind when I say this. I'll drive.
Never.
Never.
Chick ever drove your Bugatti.
Fuck. What the fuck? Who is this guy?
That's Cap.
No. No woman has
She
ever
was hot
driven
enough
any
when
of
you
my
I call
cars
Cap.
ever.
I call Cap.
let a girl. You never let a
Okay,
girl.
but wait. Have you
There's
ever
been a bad... Never. Look, perhaps it's turning a new leaf. I'm not sure, but we're seeing a changed Andrew and Tristan Tate. He's letting women drive now. This is big. Anyway, that's it. That's the whole story. I thought it was a little funny. And then now I'm going to go off and I don't know, disappear into the ether. Goodbye now. See you later. Have a good one. Goodbye. See you later. Subscribe. See you later. Goodbye.